So, hi guys, there are two special guests today, not one, which is Mr. Srinivas and Sneha, and both have been rankers and both have been associated with us. Though, as a disclaimer, Sneha was only in the PT program, but Srinivas was there and was associated with us and from the mains program as well. So, before I ask, before me going ahead with introduction, I'll rather ask you guys to introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, myself I am Sneha Arugula. I secured 136 rank this time in CSE 2021. And here today I'll try to share all that I can from my 5 years of UPSC journey. And I hope I contribute something valuable. I'll be here sharing my prelims, mains and interview strategy. Thank you.
Hi everyone, this is Srinivas. I scored all India rank 310 in the same examination, and this is my 7th attempt. So I hope that my story and whatever strategy that I've employed will be helpful at least to one aspirant whoever is watching this
video. Yeah. So to begin with, you both hail from?
I am from Telangana, sir. I am from Nizamabad district of Telangana.
I'm from Andhra Pradesh, so two rivalry states. So
two rival states, yeah. So to begin
I'm from Andhra Pradesh, proper Kakinada, coastal town. So Kakinada and state is Andhra Pradesh.
So Srinivas has stopped saying matlab at all.
Matlab is something that you asked me to reduce during our first one-on-one interview.
So there's a story to it. There is a story to it. Sneha, you also must be knowing, I don't know. So we had our first interaction and Srinivas began. And he was like, matlab. And then again, matlab. And then every second line it was there. I was like, hello.
That
you have to get rid of this.
I think that is one review point he did not actually work upon and correct, sir. So that is why we are able to listen it today.
That was my one-on-one. Actually, my first one-on-one after the main results were declared.
Yeah.
I was excited to have my one-on-one, and I think due to the 4 years that I've spent in Delhi, I was joining every sentence with a matlab and ending with a matlab. I didn't even realize that I was saying that many times.
Yes.
And after that, I started to work on it. And
but I must appreciate the long, these kind of long habits are very difficult to get rid of. And I was surprised and shocked, and he didn't utter it at all in the second time. Like he really was focused. I must appreciate that as well.
Thank you, sir.
Another story which I remember is what something wrong you had done with the mains thing. Oh my god, that was also
yeah, even then I was calling you only. The only person who I thought was that sir is Supreme Court lawyer, so I have to contact him regarding UPSC. So actually what happened is that in my answer booklet, paper 1 optional psychology. So instead of, there was this stapling error. Instead of one question printed, there's 5C sub-question. 5C was printed in between 3B, and 3B question was printed as 5C. So I had to strike off that question in that compulsory question of 5C, and I had to write from the question with my pen, and then answer that particular question in the order. I was very worried about it. So after the option was over, I called you. I was asking you.
I guess they accepted all of that. They accepted.
I think they've accepted it because I did not see any penalty marks in my mark sheet.
Yes.
Maybe so that they were like, it's okay.
You was actually I spoke to Srinivas on that day after the optional exam, and he was so worried about that. Then later after we spoke, he was saying how advice you were giving, how you were helping him to actually sort out those things and how to actually contact UPSC and write a mail to them and make a registered post instead of a speed post. He was actually conveying all that to me. So I remember.
The whole thing is you must have a proof of what we are saying. That's it. Later on, it shouldn't be like everything happened and we don't even know now whom to approach. The whole thing was about that.
Yes, I've notified in the center, the controller of examinations, ma'am. Yes. I told her, I briefed her, and you asked me what is the proof that you did it. So I was like, okay, maybe I need some proof. So I had to send a registered post.
Yeah. So, Srinivas, you have given mains earlier too, like, lots of them, I guess. So what do you think, like, this attempt changed, and what are the mistakes you were making, especially the mistakes, so that, it might be a lesson for a lot of people to understand and not lose it very easily?
So this was my sixth mains. Apart from the one prelims that I flunked, I generally clear every time. I generally clear prelims every time with a healthy margin, very healthy margin. After that, I start preparing for mains. And the notion that I had is that UPSC conducts a civil service examination as a special, this kind of a not from this planet wala examination, which is corrected by immortals, and which is the standards for evaluating this paper are higher when compared to a university examination. So this was the notion that I had in my mind. So that prompted me not to write any mock tests, improve a lot on my content. I'm not saying that I did not read at all in my previous attempts. I've read it. Actually, as honestly speaking, I think I've read the least for this attempt, and I've read a lot for the last 5 mains. So the thing that I've done this time is that I've emphasized a lot on my mock tests. I was like, okay, I have to. The problem is not with my content. I realized that there are two things that I've realized this time. So when I was writing any answer, I kept in mind that there are 2 pages that I have to write in my main sheet. It doesn't matter if I have a PhD thesis on for example, GDP or employment. Exactly. I would be able to write only 2 pages. If it is a 15 mark, it's of 3 pages. And I have to ensure that whatever content is there is distilled in a general layman terms or layperson terms on those 2 pages. That is the only correction that I've done this year. And secondly, the revision aspect of it. I used to read. I used to go into the depths of every topic, which I've curtailed this time. This time I've tried to cover the diversity of topics, and I've limited myself to 250 words, made my own notes, revised them, and wrote mock tests, took feedback, and that worked very well.
I guess that's very crucial point what you put it. It's only the 2 pages, so you don't have to do a kind of a PhD. Like, the more you focus on the brevity of it and how to collate the information and put best in those 2 pages, that's what it is. That's the simplest way to put it. So yes, and obviously you were lacking there only because you were there. It's not that, and it was a consistent performance. So consistently you're getting a particular type of marks. That means that there was something lacking. What was your optional?
My option is psychology.
So can you just briefly tell about few tips about psychology?
The same thing, sir. I think I repeated the same mistake in my optional. I've never written an answer, and that general studies, at least I thought that the professors, whoever are correcting, are lay persons. So I have to ensure that I'm writing normal common wala language. But in optional, I used to let my imagination fly. I used to think, okay, psychology professor is correcting, so I can write as much as detailed as I want. And for every attempt, I used to change the textbook. The one basic textbook, I used to change it. I used to read advanced textbooks. For every chapter, I used to read a specific textbook. So I was doing a lot content-wise, and never bothering it to put it on a paper. Answer writing. So this time I was like, nah, whatever I've read. I made my own notes. Optional ke liye it was very useful, especially in those 5 days that we have for GS and optional. So that worked really well. So for that, I made a notes and I written like 12 or 30 mock tests for optional. So that helped me to present the subject and to present the content that I have in a lucid manner.
Okay. And Sneha, what about you? You can also share the GS strategy, especially because see, GS and SA are ultimately the main chunk of marks are there only.
Yes, sir. Sir, I think this is my 4th attempt, and there is continuous progress in my performance also in this 4th attempt till this all attempts, sir. And there is a peculiar mistake I made during every attempt that did not get me a rank every time. So I like to share that in the very first attempt, like many of the aspirants do, I think all that I did was take a topic and dig it vertically instead of covering the whole syllabus. UPSC ka syllabus is very vast. I did not cover it horizontally, rather I went into vertical depths. So first time mein jab prelims was 1 month away, I was not able to even complete all of the syllabus. So that I rectified in the second attempt. I did all of the UPSC ka syllabus. I got a hold of all of the content. I tried to make notes. I tried to restrict myself to standard references or the books which I like. That I was able to do. But majority of the notes I was not able to complete, sir. So that made me get very less marks in mains. So after that, I tried to correct after second attempt. I tried to take UPSC ka syllabus, pura syllabus. एक term pe I tried to make individual notes about one A4 sheet ka size ka 150 words or 250 words ka content. So in that too in a proper format of introduction, body and conclusion with some value addition and updating it with value addition points every time once either it's from Hindu paper or any monthly magazine or something like that. Relation. So I always kept my notes crisp and also updated during my third attempt. But what mistake I did in my third attempt was I did not revise it enough because I did not trust my notes. So I did not revise it. I went for other sources during the 3 months ka duration. And the second thing was I did not give enough mock tests. So I think what differentiated my third attempt to fourth attempt is I ensured that I revised my notes 3 to 4 times during the 2.5 to 3 months ka prelims mains ka schedule window period. I also wrote enough mock tests. So I wrote about 30 GS mock tests, sir, only during that 80 days. And I also wrote about 10 anthro optional mock tests. So I ensured that every alternate day I'll write a 3-hour ka test.
That's almost test every second day, 40 tests.
Yes, sir. I did that. So every 3 years, I used to ensure that alternate day I'll have a test, that too in real-time scenario, like the way I do it in my exam. So that ensured that answer writing is a very natural act for me, and on the D-Day, I'll perform very well, and that won't be giving me any anxiety or chills. So I think that helped. Revising it multiple times so that I'll have all the content on my tips to write it fully in my exam, and second thing to actually implement the same thing and practice giving mock tests.
Then it starts coming, subconsciously it's there, it's ingrained. If you do so much, then even, if somebody wakes you up and you start writing, then also natural flow will be there. Because
that happens, sir.
A hell lot.
On the exam day, somehow there is always some anxiety or something may go wrong. But automatically, I think my watch, the time, and my mind and my hand is prepared for it. So it keeps writing no matter the water bottle fell from my next bench ka student. It did not stop. So it became a habitual thing for me.
No, so yesterday I was having an interview with our main program student Rohit, and he had not done much of answer writing because answer writing comes naturally to him. So there will be exceptions, but still what I believe in today's times, it's not only the content assimilation, but the answer writing which is required, because everybody else is doing it and everybody else is doing it with some good flair. So those to reach that utmost of your performance and efficaciously, you really require that. You require to up the ante. So that is there. Without it,
if I may add, I don't think. Sorry for interruption. If I may add, I think there are also levels of answer writing.
Yes.
Completing all 20 questions in the stipulated time is only level 1. Generally, we have this perception that मैंने पढ़ दिया पूरा. पढ़ दिया मतलब everyone. So मतलब आया. So पढ़ दिया. So
after a long time.
Yes. So papers have filled the entire paper. That doesn't mean you will be scoring 120s and all. I think that there are levels of answer writing. I used to write in my initial test. I used to complete paper 3 hours में. And then I used to be very happy. And then I asked Sneha to send her copy over. And then I realized that the presentation aspect is very different. So she's putting the same amount of content in a precise manner, in a flow diagram or a triangle or a whatever diagram she's trying to use or map she's trying to put in. That actually adds some flair to those answers that you have said. I think there are levels of answer writing even.
True.
So I think that we can always incorporate from different topics how to present your content so that the examiner, who he or she is not getting vexed up with all these 20 questions, you are giving them different kinds of answers and different types of presentations so as to make their job easier.
True. And it is not only so, as you said, so exam is also graduated. People are also understanding, and everybody is knowing, toppers' answer sheets are there out. Everybody can see it. And a lot of people like you are coming out and, kind of guiding people. So the standards are also increasing. It's not that, as you said, you just complete the paper and you can expect something. No, now it is not the case. You'll have to answer beautifully, well presented. And it is also not the case you just compare, in between there was that thing going. You just for any social justice scheme, you cram 5 words, you just, those synonyms and all of that. You'll have to know the scheme. You'll have to really analyze also. You'll have to have that analytical ability. And then you can use these top-ups like, diagrams, synonyms. It can't be the whole game. No, it cannot. You'll have to know that exact particular scheme, and you'll have to have that analytical bent of mind, how to analyze that and how beautifully to present it. True, that's there. And essay was also a real bouncer in your year because it was all, all philosophical essays. How much you guys scored?
I scored 107.
I scored 113, sir.
That's
good scores, but yeah.
So it was very hard for me to take it. we were having this informal wala bet. We were betting that whoever will score the highest marks is the real winner because essay is a real tricky paper. So I was actually happy. I was actually confident that I'll be outscoring her because of my previous attempts. I used to score 150 pluses, and even when the marks awarding was relatively tough, I used to score 136, 138, and all. So I was very happy with essay. I never wrote a mock test because you told about another student. The same way I thought I have this flair for essay writing, so I never wrote a mock test, but I used to score good marks for in every mains. But this time I scored, I thought I was scoring only 107, which was hard to take. But it's okay.
This time very less people are above 135. Very less. Sir. Not much. I've spoken a lot to a lot of people who's given interviews, failed, pass, rankers. Essay was tough. And the choice of essay was tougher.
113 is equally hard for me, sir. I scored 133 in the last attempt. And even before that, when I did not prepare anything for essay, I just went and wrote with an open mind. I scored in 120s or 130s. So 113 is really difficult for me to see in my mark sheet this time. I don't know what went wrong, but that happened, sir. I was not expecting 113.
And what was your optional?
Mine is anthropology, sir.
So please go on with some words of wisdom on anthro.
Anthropology, I think one good thing about anthropology is there are a lot of resources in the market, sir. They are available freely. So apart from the standard textbooks, I think there are many toppers notes and toppers copies. So I think once a student understands the basics of anthropology, they can go for some YouTube videos also. Even if they are not able to afford some coaching classes, YouTube videos on basic biology will help them to understand the subject content. So once they understand the subject across horizontals, I think what is essential is making notes. Making notes from 2 to 3 different standard textbooks. And I think to understand the depths of the notes and to understand whether the quality of the notes is enough or not, there can be a benchmark of other toppers' notes. So I took Varnit Negi sir's notes and other toppers' notes as a benchmark, and I ensured that at least in topics where I was not able to find content, I'll at least maintain that much content. And in other topics, I was trying to do value addition from many other sources. So after making that notes, I ensured that I revised it multiple times this time, and I enrolled for L2A Anthro test series where sir helped me in evaluation and course correction. So that was in a whole comprehensive thing.
So basically, some mentorship, some writing, obviously content you assimilated yourself from varied sources, and that part is easy because of a lot of toppers, coming
materials
out.
Materials are there.
Materials are there. Problem is what to select. It's problem of plenty. It's not problem of it's not there.
I think in Anthro there are standard textbooks, sir. There is Ember and Ember textbook for Ember and Ember textbook and PNAR textbook for physical anthropology and Nadim Hussain for tribal anthropology. I think such standard textbooks have to be read initially to understand. And usme se like exam oriented content has to be extracted by the individual itself so that it is easy to understand and revise one's own handwritten notes.
That is always ideal. That is ideal case scenario, that you extract the material or you make the notes by yourself. But somehow people get attracted to that cut, copy, pasted. Everybody wants a piece of cake, and that too
Shortcut.
easily. But hello, you have to bake, you have to grind, you have to go collect the flour. The cake will have to be made by you only. It can't be that you go to the shop and take it. That is how the exam is, because otherwise you
Yes,
don't
sir.
learn that art of how you will process the information, how you'll present it. You'll never learn that. It's very difficult. Few exceptions might be there who was so intelligent that they just get the some synopsis kind of material, and they are able to reproduce it. But otherwise, I think it's difficult only.
The thing is, sir, like I refer to Varnit Negi sir's copy answer topper's notes. But the thing is, sir must have written one word in the notes with some intention. He must have read 3 to 4 pages
Yes.
of textbook, and then he summarized it in his own words. I may not understand the exact value of it when I read that 3 to 4 lines. So it is essential for one to read that standard textbooks and then make in notes in their own words. I think I see the importance over there, sir.
True, true.
Even I want to emphasize the same aspects. Even my optional is the reverse when compared to anthropology. The resources are very scarce. The mentorship is not
Sir.
available. Only 1 or 2 people are there. So whenever a topper or a relatively high scoring person, whoever has uploaded his or her notes, generally there's this tendency to copy them verbatim, the notes and all, so, which I think is futile, because if someone is referring to my notes, at least GS I'm okay, because GS thought the challenges, the strengths are sort of factual. You can always copy them. But I think in optional, when you're making some notes, it's very you do not know why he or she has written that paper,
Written that particular.
written that at a particular point. So all you can take from a topper's notes is that maybe the style of presentation, maybe how they are seeing the topic, what are the different dimensions they are covering in the notes, what are the theory salient features that they are covering, the criticism, the contribution. Apart from that, I always advise anyone who asks me to make his or her own notes. You can always refer to copy topper's notes, but it's always advisable to have your own notes, because that will help tremendously in your revision. Because when you're making your own notes, you don't need to revise 5-6 times, because it is your own personal thing. You can do it by, I think the revision can be done only once or twice, and you'll be really good with it. So making your own notes is really beneficial. I think the one more reason why I cleared prelims successively multiple times is that even current affairs booklets hota hai na, I refer to a monthly ones, be it Vision or Vajiram, jo bhi hai, I used to refer them, but I used to make my own notes from monthlies also. I don't advise this for first timers, obviously, because it's a very time-taking phenomenon. But that is the reason why I score higher in prelims, because it saves a lot of time in the fag end of the examination. People will be revising 365
You
4
made the
times,
notes
5
from
times.
you made the notes from newspapers.
No, sir. That is
From the
again time
magazine.
consuming. So, yeah, I take the monthly. I discard whatever extra information that they have copy pasted, because I think they have this target or something, 100 pages kuch hona hai, 120 hona hai.
Mhm.
There are some months, I think, where there is no news at all, and literally the booklet is 120 pages.
No, but you did
What I
that.
do,
You did that post habit and command over newspapers.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
I don't recommend this strategy for the first timers at all.
no,
The
not
first
at
time,
all.
I think, yes, sir, first timers, and I think even the second attempt also should continue sticking reading to the newspaper and revising from the monthly notes. That
Yes.
I won't do that. Yes, that is not there. But the thing is, if you are a veteran or if you are senior, you know what are the general developments that are happening in newspaper. You can always pick the monthly. You make your own notes out of it, which is helpful, because I think people won't realize that, because you're investing
So
a lot of
another
amount.
thing, Srinivas, I want you to, actually, I was just about to ask about current affairs, but you just, you brought in that topic. So people kind of get confused about note making. People think that note making is summarizing. No, that is not only the note making. It can be adding on the information. It can be little more Google research and adding on to a particular fact which is coming continuously. It might be any technology, for example, NFC. Now, there was a question on NFC, or there might be a question on smart grid or whatever. Now, that's a technological aspect. The word came, the news came. There might be any magazine by any institute. It will have some snippet, some FAQ. but everything will lack that information which will suffice for all four options of pre. It will have one or two options, but not all four. So for that, you need to dig in a little, especially for those things which are coming continuously, like 3-4 times if it has been, coming in the news. So that part is also note making, which people don't understand. People think that, you're cut copy pasting or making the magazine more shorter. So I just wanted that you should also clarify that that is only that is not the note making.
Yes, sir. So, for me, generally, people for prelims, because I've been in this in the last 7 years. Generally, people ask me the first time out. They ask me, Anna, how to make notes out of current affairs, how to read that. Or the most basic question that I get asked, keep asking is that there's this monthly, for example, February ka vision ka monthly. How to read it? So they say that they actually. The first thing I say is that just because the Vision IAS has deemed an issue important, that doesn't mean you have to read it. You can exercise your own individual judgment. Just because they have posted something randomly about some plastic rules or something, that doesn't mean you have to go and dig in and everything. Because the commission is not making papers out of Vision IAS ka booklet.
Obviously,
they're making issues. They're making questions on the general issues. That is number one. Number two, that a very small magazine that I asked them to do is
just interjecting you, but that judgment will only come if you are reading newspaper.
Yes, sir. And also solving a lot of mock tests also.
Yes.
Mock tests, because if someone is in the initial phases of his or preparation, I highly advise them to refer to the previous year questions, because you know what are the type of questions they are asking.
EYQs are important.
The EYQs are important, and once you're in the later end of your preparation, you can always see when you're solving the mock test, you can see how a question is framed. So related to that, the second maxim that I tell the students is that if there is a question, for example, Parliamentary Standing Committee has criticized so and so for doing so and so, they'll say that, and there'll be like 2 pages of intricate info on what is this, what is that, and all. So they'll be asking what to read from this. So I ask them, can you frame an objective question? The simple mantra that I ask is that if there is a context, can you frame an objective question on that context? So PSC has summoned so-and-so official because there is this inflation that is happening in India. There is no way you're framing an objective question on that context. So I ask them to skip it completely. Yes. So the 2 pages that is there, it is not necessary for prelims. It's not relevant for prelims at all, because there is no rational objective question that is coming from that context. So when you do that, the 120 pages the booklet will be turning around to 20 or 25 pages of highly condensed information, which is highly objective. So that is one thing that I keep telling everyone, whoever is reading a monthly thing, I say that you yourself try to come up with an objective question on that context. If you are failing to do so, the paper setter is also failing to do so. There is no objective question coming from that thing. So if you mentioned NFT, obviously you need to know what is an NFT, because there is an objective question there. Apart from that, if you're going into what are the concerns regarding NFT, what are the advantages of NFT, you might need them for mains, but they're irrelevant for prelims because they can't frame an objective question on that. True. So that is something that you can employ for monthly magazines.
No, but true, as you put it, but can't skip the newspaper.
No, sir, can't skip the newspaper. At least in the first 2-3 years, I don't think you can skip the newspapers. Maybe if you are like 7 years ago, so 5-year plan bhi banaya hoga tumne. You have gone beyond a 5-year plan, then you can go, because the news repeats itself. 2 years
you're knowing almost everything.
Yeah, 2 years pehle mob violence tha, abhi mob violence tha, 2 saal ke baad mob violence. Okay, there's this cycle that is repeating.
True.
But on the other hand, ditching a newspaper is a bad thing, especially in the first 2-3 years.
Also, pre's also started becoming dicey. You can't skip any portion.
Elimination thing.
You are a master of pre. You have given pre 5 years back also and today. So 5 years back, medieval and ancient, okay, abhi theek hai, nahi bhi kiya chalega. Chhod diya. But can you do that now? I think now you have to be safe, then sorry, and you have to attend to all sections. Exams nature is also changing. It is a dynamic thing. CSAT is becoming difficult.
Yes, CSAT is difficult.
Or at least various people are finding it difficult because of educational backgrounds, or their forte is not that, and not that they're not deserving. There are a lot of deserving people who are somehow missing the bus because of CSAT. So that element is also there. You were comfortable with CSAT?
No, sir. Even I suffered a 50% reduction, I think, compared to my first CSAT and last year, Abhi marks I 2021. I think there's a 50% reduction. So,
so it is becoming a little that difficult.
Tougher. Yes.
Even my scores are going on downward trends, CSAT, from the past few years.
We also tend to get relaxed about it. Oh, we've been passing through it, it's fine. So we are not at the peak of the game. So that is also there. Because nobody tried their level best in CSAT.
Yes, sir. And I think CSAT pay once, like the way, as you said, because it is qualifying paper, it is okay to not prepare a lot for it, but we shouldn't be even complacent to it. So as the trends are going and as many deserving candidates are not able to do it, I think one suggestion I would suggest is maybe one student has to go through 2 to 3 years previous year's questions, copies, test papers leke maybe solve karna hai real time situation mein, and maybe if they're scoring comfortably beyond 80 marks, I think one can be relaxed about it and over a period of time can solve 3 or 4 tests before the exam. Otherwise, I think it is better to focus on do a systematic preparation about it.
True. Because CSAT is also a dangerous pitfall, and it, I can even imagine, like, it must be really feeling really bad that everything was prepared and you lost due to CSAT, that too at a preliminary stage. So that's a bad setback for anyone to encounter in this journey, because people, one whole year getting wasted. So yeah. Another thing which I feel, I don't know, you guys can have your opinion. Interviews, the lesser you depend on interviews is the better. So mains is the main exam somehow, like, as the name goes.
I think it is right, sir. Yes, sir. Because the mass distribution itself says 1750 and 275 says that mains is the major portion, and beyond that, beyond marks distribution, I think it is a certainty with which mains gives you marks, sir. If you have prepared for it, if you are putting enough effort to it, and if you're preparing it smartly with a proper strategy, I think one can score proportionate marks in mains. And interview thing, yes, one's personality gets reflected in the marks, but there is a sense of more proportionality in mains exam rather than in interview marks. So it is better to always rely on mains and also. Yes, sir. So it is. So mains gives you ranks. Mains makes you put your name in the list, sir. And interview helps you get it higher in the list. So it is always better to score higher marks in mains so that we are prepared to be ourselves in the list. And interview marks will always add to the icing and ensure that we'll get a good rank.
People might not know you lost it just by a marks or 2 or 3, I guess, right? In the last
one
interview.
Marks, sir.
1 mark.
1 marks. Oh my God. So see, perseverance is also there.
Yes, sir.
And that is a quality which people somehow think that, there could have been 2 options in front of, there were rather 2 options in front of you that feel bad, cry over it, waste 5-7 months, 3 months, 2 months, and, you could have flunked in pre. Or you might not have been in your right mindset for mains, but you have to perceive, that is how perseverance is a must for this exam, is what I feel.
Yes, sir. Actually, after third attempt, it was very difficult, sir. One of the very difficult moment, I can say. After I had my interview on the very last day. So after that, in 2 days, the exam results were declared during my third attempt, and prelims was just 10 days away from it. So I got my results. I failed in it. Marks were not yet released, and there was this again prelims in 10 days. So I did not have time to prepare for prelims before interview because it was on the last day. And I don't have time to prepare now because I have it in 10 days. I did not understand whether to dedicate my time in crying or studying. I was literally at that juncture to not know anything.
But so, obviously you handled that well. And that's what matters,
sir.
Those moments, in that 1 year, 2 year journey, though there are those moments where you can slip off. But no, you shouldn't. And you have to kind of brace with it and go ahead.
It was families and friends support, sir, and I owe it to them. They were with me and they ensured that I am in right spirits. And I tried to do my bit by doing test series every day. That 10 days I ensured that I religiously write tests so that I get into that prelims mode again, back from interview mode. That 10 days, about 9 days, I continuously wrote all that every day morning a test series. And the remaining time, I ensured that I divided into static portion and current affairs portion. And I did whatever I can, sir, to do that, to repair the situation, that 10 days preparation. And I think it more than that preparation, because preparation is there from 4 years, sir. I think it is that confidence and sense of resilience one has to have on that prelims day to go and write the paper. That was essential that day, and I am glad that I did it successfully.
Thankfully, I never was in that situation. I lost mains every time, so a lot of time for soul searching and introspection. I used to get like 5 months for prelims, so I was like, pad leta hu main. So the only one interview I gave, hopefully I made it, so I don't need to give it again. But I've never been in that interview and prelims wala stage, which is actually scary. 5 दिन में या 10 दिन में
you were having some issue with the mains itself. That's it.
Yeah.
Once that got resolved, it got resolved completely.
And to answer your original question, how important is mains, is that I think in mains there are no uncontrollables. Everyone has the same paper, except for the optional that you can't control, or butchering that happens. People say whatever. So apart from that, there are less number of uncontrollables if in mains. In optional, I think there are many uncontrollables on the day of what is your health status, or there are a number of variables that might go wrong, the kind of questions you might get asked and all. So I think mains, because of its lion's share of marks, 1750, it's always better to bank on it and do your interview decently. I'm not saying okay, मैं नहीं जाऊंगा interview, or I'm not saying that, but mains is the ball game. The reason why I did not qualify for the past 6 years is that mains ka presentation was lacking and I was unable to see the problem, what actually is the problem. Once I saw it, it was clear. The road was, okay, I shouldn't have wasted these many years. I wouldn't say wasted, but maybe whatever problems you're having in mains, I think it's very important to have your individual mentor if possible. So that is very important, so that they'll let you know what are the flaws. Mentor or any peer group, the serious peer group that you have.
Can be your senior who's cleared it, whatever. But there should be somebody who's frankly telling you, I think here you're wrong. So that you can improve upon, introspect, think about it. Otherwise, you keep towing the same line, you keep working hard, but there's no improvement is not there. That is there. So, Srinivas, how did there are two common questions which I ask almost everybody. So, it's a repetitive question to all the toppers which I ask. Is that how life has changed?
Let Sneha answer first.
You're being clever, huh? You should answer first. No, she's not answering. I have asked you only. Yeah, you also don't answer. Come on, why the hell you?
Thank you, sir.
No. I mean, honestly speaking, I haven't still processed the result. Actually, I'm having this FOMO that I did not give prelims this year. I missed giving prelims. On June 5th, I was going through a very bad phase. Everyone was writing paper. I even dropped my younger brother to the examination center. I almost felt like a parent leaving my kid to the kindergarten school or something. I haven't still processed the result. I think it is. I'm still having those withdrawal symptoms, so as to say. Spending 7 years.
You were the first one to call me after results.
Yes, sir.
Your call came just within that second.
Yes, sir. So I was talking to you because the rank was on the border. So I was like, kya karna hai? And I think that the rank 310, I thought, where is it? Which service I'm getting? Should I be ready for giving prelims and all? Apart from that, it's good, sir. It's good to see my parents happy. After 7 years, they're really happy that, okay, this fellow has put his hard work, he showed his resilient, and they are very happy. I think that gives me a sense of satisfaction, and also helping my aspirants, helping my co-aspirants, whoever they're asking me, "Arey, mains ka kya karna hai, prelims ka kya karna hai?" That is fulfilling. Apart from that, maybe I'm looking forward for the next phase, I think. FC and training and all.
Training and yeah, good. Also, a lot of burden goes away.
It went away. And maybe I spent a lot of time. I must have time. I don't think people should be spending itna time on an exam.
Yes,
but
yes.
yes,
Ideally,
I at all.
ideally, nobody should, like, ideally 3 attempts are good enough.
Yes, sir. I think I'm having this retirement wala feeling. Okay, 60 years हो गया, retire हो गया, मुझे क्या करना है? So I was talking to her after the result. I used to call her. Arey, every morning I used to wake up. I used to think about prelims, mains, or interview. Not needing to think about it is giving me a major void in my life. Is what I said. I told her like
You're
5, 6
so
times.
habitual to that cycle and working hard that you feel that, oh, something is missing now.
I used to call her every day. I say, "Arey, yaar, मुझे void लग रहा है यार life में. I'm not knowing what to do. She used to say, "Arey, you're not understanding the gravity of the situation. You actually cleared. You should be happy."
You realize you should...
I still haven't realized.
What about you, Sneha?
So one thing that changed is every night before going to bed, I used to analyze how did my day go. Like, was it productive? Was it enough of studies? That did I actually spend my day in the path what I set for? That analysis used to come to a degree. It was good. It was bad. I should improve for next day. And I used to plan my next day, sir. What all I have to study. At least I have to complete this much. These days, this is not there, sir. Like Srinivas said, that is another void before me getting into my bed. Apart from all this, it is all happy, sir. I'm super happy. My mother is happy. Seeing everybody happy around you. And the thing is, it is actually good to see ki many people who did not believe in us or said ki you shouldn't do this for a longer period of time. Me being a girl, there were people who actually said ki I should get married off easily as soon as possible, or I should get into some job and actually be productive and be earning, or I should get married. So it was good to actually prove otherwise ki I am actually capable and I can do it. So
No,
I was happy and
both
relieved.
of you, and rather you coming from humble backgrounds, far-flung places, and then being resilient to the extra challenge which Indian society props up for females or female aspirants. There are those pressures around, and how to survive that, go ahead, keep going, and then win finally. So yes, it's a great feeling, obviously, and kudos to you both that you somehow kept doing it. So that is also, it's not easy. Now it all sounds very easy and we're giggling and we're laughing. But come on, every step of it, and you felt it. So yes, I salutes to you guys, and because see, it's a kind of an achievement, and also it inspires a lot of people around you, kids around your hometown, a lot of people who is in your school now. So it becomes an inspiration. Yes, somebody has done it, we can also do it. Because that sense of achievement is required in the youth at all levels, and that is how we as a country should. We are an aspirational country. We are growing, and it sends a great message when civil servants come from humble, good, humble backgrounds and far-flung places, tier 2, tier 3 towns.
Yes, sir. Today I'm into civil services only because I was inspired by a civil servant during my early school days. So I think if any of us, all the toppers or these days civil services toppers can contribute to such feeling in the next generation, I think our purpose is served, sir. So I think that should be the aim of any media house to taking any story out.
Srinivas, you were you're saying, and Srinivas was pitching that what you'll be sharing your notes on your this
UPSCprep.
your blog.
I haven't opened any blog, and also I just want my notes to be useful to anyone, whoever is in need. So I'm willing to share my all notes. I don't think I'll have takers for optional, but GS 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll send the PDFs. I don't have this habit of handwriting notes, but I have a habit of soft copy, which I think will be easier to read also for whoever
Cool.
needs it.
We'll be putting that up. The link
Yes,
will
sir.
put up in the in the video which
UPSC
we'll
prep.
upload. Also
Yes,
on the
sir.
website, we'll
Yes,
try
sir.
and
GS one, two,
class.
three, four notes. Yes, I have those PDFs and I'm very happy to share them. I'm really hopeful. I'll be very happy. I'll be very glad if either one aspirant finds them useful and they revamp their mains preparation accordingly
A lot
to
of people
see
will
what.
find useful because you worked hard over it.
Yes,
100%.
sir. So I'll be sharing the PDFs for all the 6 papers, GS 1, 2, 3, 4, and optional paper 1, paper 2.
With
If there
with a
is any optional
disclaimer
aspect.
that notes will be handy, but cut copy paste won't work.
Won't
You'll
work.
have to find your own way.
Yes, sir.
Because I always
I'll be
think
sending
that,
all the PDFs.
yeah, great. So that is what, so I'm telling it to everyone that we'll be uploading that and we'll be giving a link at this our video which will get uploaded.
Adding to
Sure.
that, mine is handwritten notes, sir, and I don't think I can scan all of them. It is very scattered, but I'll make samples of whatever I can, and I'll hand over it to you, sir. I'll be happy if you can share that too.
Yeah, grateful. This is kind of a thing which has started in past 10-15 years because of technology. Toppers notes and toppers mark sheets, or rather the questions which they've solved can be put up and people can kind of learn from that,
Learn
and
from.
that's a good thing. Technology is also playing a crucial role.
Yes, sir.
Accessibility has increased tremendously.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It was many. I referred to many toppers copies, Vishaka Yadav ma'am's note toppers copy, and many other copies, and I improved on my answer writing skills, sir. So I think it will be helpful, and it is actually useful to see others' copies, best copies, even during the preparation and during this prelims to mains window.
So one last question to Srinivas is that how should we improve as UPSC prep as an initiative? Because you were there for part of it. Tell us. I've asked this to everybody. Viku, Ananya, Aditya, Rohit, all of those main focus program guys. That what are the tips for us? Because we should also keep improving, isn't it?
The only thing that I will. I think focus group needs more students. The kind of mentoring that is available. I'm sad that there are only, I think, 35, 40 students that we had last year.
We had a
Really
very small,
hopeful.
no, we had around 100, but yeah, 50 people, 60 people were giving the mains, I guess. I don't remember the
Yes,
exact number. So we were
I don't have.
we had just begun at that time. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I want these meta because the questions that I wrote, I was having during my mains test series, they were a mix of previous year questions and the questions based on them in the recent current affairs context, which I found very unique because the other test series in the market, the other coaching test series were unnecessarily giving complex questions so as to riddle the aspirants. I found UPSCprep questions as very relevant and easy so as to say, okay, fine, take care. This question is what I can actually answer. And that boosted my this thing because I have this aversion of writing tests, which I've already mentioned. So I used to pick the questions from UPSCprep, 5 questions or 6 questions. I used to answer them. That used to give the confidence, okay, I can answer questions. And then I used to build on, I used to answer more questions in a stipulated time frame, and I used to do that. So I don't have any suggestions per se, sir, but I'll be very happy if these services are extended to a wider pool of aspirants.
Also, the individualized attention which we give, we cannot extend to XYZ big number. That is for sure. If we do that, then we'll lose that.
Yes,
So what we are trying to
quality
have is,
greater than
but
quantity.
yes. So our batches will be restricted only, and that is how we are running. Otherwise, we lose that track. You know it. Then we
Yes, sir.
can't be available on overcall, and we can't keep checking the copies and keep solving each problem. So for us also, it's more of a fun and passion and that kind of thing. As we had decided to meet, but somehow we couldn't physically. We had decided, again a disclaimer that we have decided that we'll take the interviews physically somehow, but we couldn't because of my engagements to litigation, going here and there, Bombay, Delhi, whatever. So
So okay, we'll be meeting anyway before the FC, and we'll be coming to Delhi and we'll be meeting anyway. So
yeah, for sure. Looking forward to that meeting as well.
without campus.
Without campus. Yeah, yeah.